Now, I know that sometimes I can get pretty ridiculous when talking about the things that are going on outside my apartment, but the reason this video is coming out later is because I took some time to wait to start to record it. There was a whole bunch of noise going on outside, and when I say noise, you usually go out there in the comments and say, "Oh, I don't hear it, Lego, you're good." But nah, you would have heard it this time, because some dude was going out there power washing the concrete right outside my window. And you know, if you've seen the streams that we do for the playoffs, you know that I record and I do all my YouTube stuff right beside a window, so it's immediately accessible to the outside. Therefore, anything that goes on outside, trucks, leaf blowers, power washers on the concrete, stuff like that, it gets picked up by this very sensitive condenser microphone that I speak into. So I took some time to relocate my entire setup. It's why the video is coming out later. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to record the third video of the day in this room. I'm in a side room surrounded by towels, clothes, hangers, and a laptop sitting out here that I really do hope does not run out of battery anytime soon. So let's talk today about our Detroit Red Wings video topic and go over as to what Frank Seravalli said on a few sources. Now, the reason we're talking about Tyler Bertuzzi, that's the name we're talking about, surprise, surprise. The reason we're going over Bertuzzi and his entire profile here is because Frank Seravalli made an appearance on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, which is the Kipper and Bourne show, yesterday. He said on the Fan 590 that teams around the NHL see Tyler Bertuzzi as a less skilled Brad Marchand. It sounds like the noise is legit. He mentioned that he was adding Bertuzzi's name to his players available at the deadline list as soon as the radio hit was over. This was about 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and immediately after this Seravalli radio hit, he went onto his own website, dailyfaceoff.com, and updated the trade watch list as he said he would. The article's right here. The link will be in the description if you want to go ahead and read the rest of the trade targets that are available in the National Hockey League. But Seravalli says this: Tyler Bertuzzi and Sean Monahan have indeed been added to top 50 trade targets list. Here's the Tyler Bertuzzi segment. Detroit Red Wings left wing, 27 years old, one more season, $4.75 million AAV. The scoop is that GM Steve Yzerman has let teams know that he is open for business. The sense is just about everyone from the Wings roster is available, aside from Seider and Raymond. Okay, yeah, surprise, surprise. Seider and Raymond not available. I don't really think that's a surprise to anybody. I was being sarcastic. That would include Tyler Bertuzzi, whose name first surfaced in Rumours last summer. Bertuzzi has had a strong season, collecting a career-high 24 goals in just 50 games. He's missed 9 games as he's unable to travel to Canada as one of the 2 active NHL players to remain unvaccinated. I don't know who the other one is, actually. Bertuzzi's next point that he scores will mark as a career best, and he provides an edge, an element essential for playoff success. One team this week referred to Bertuzzi as an incredibly annoying, slightly less skilled version of Brad Marchand. And that's a compliment. So, yeah, all Marchand things out of the way here first. That's a good thing, being compared to Marchand. Sure, I don't really think that they're going out there and saying that Tyler Bertuzzi is likely going to lick players in the face. It's not really something that you would want to see anyway, but when it comes to Brad Marchand, he is a very good NHL player. You could argue he is a top player in the entire league when it comes to just forward versatility, because he does it all. He hits, he scores, he playmakes, he gets under your skin. Even though he's a small guy, he's a really shifty kind of embodiment of what the modern NHL is sort of shifting towards. You know, with the Connor McDavids and all those guys coming into their own, this is a speedy, skilled winger that has got an ability to make an impact. And so when I see scouts going out there and saying, yeah, Tyler Bertuzzi is like a discount Brad Marchand, that's a good thing, don't get me wrong. And when it comes to Bertuzzi and the entire situation he has with his contract, we already talked about it. He's got 1 year left at $4.75 million a season. This was the first year of his 2-year deal. And honestly, I don't think the Red Wings could be any happier with how he has performed so far. He has tied his career high in points. He had that 2 seasons ago in 21 more games, 48 points, 71 games in 2019-20. This season, of course, 48 points in 50 games. He is under a point per game, and he has already bested his career high in goals. Bertuzzi's got his own skills, he's got his own offensive pizzazz, but what he also does is he makes the players around him want to work as well. They see his work ethic, they see him going after pucks, they see him chasing it along the boards, and this is the kind of spirit that gets everybody else in the lineup saying, okay, this kind of attitude is sort of infectious. I want to go out there and start fighting for the puck with as much effort as he does, because he's making it seem like this is the only thing in the world that matters at the moment. Bertuzzi's one of those guys that helps the team in more than one way, and when it comes to the long-term future, I mean, he is 27 years old, so he's kind of smack dab in the middle of his prime right now. You could go out there and say that by the time Seider and Raymond are in their mid-20s, Simon Edvinsson is on at the team, and Sebastian Cossa is the full-time Red Wings starter. That timeline of success might just be a little bit too far into the future for a Tyler Bertuzzi long-term extension to align with. Now, you could argue that. You could try to say, okay, if Bertuzzi signs next season when he's 28 years old for 8 years and he goes until he's 36, he'll be 32, 33 when that scenario you described will happen, like Seider, Raymond, top of the league in points. They're already kind of there in terms of the rookie scoring, but you get what I mean. And then Cossa and Edvinsson and everybody else on the team, Bertuzzi could be 32, 33, and that could be fine, but at the same time, Steve Yzerman being open for business means that Steve Yzerman is going to try to make some trades. And I'll tell you this right here, Steve Yzerman is a guy that I think so many people in Red Wings Nation trust, that if you see a Bertuzzi trade going down, you know the return is going to be good. You know the return is going to be worth it. And you know the return is going to probably help the Red Wings out, maybe even just a tad more than Bertuzzi in isolation would, should this timeline of 5 years down the road actually pan out for the Red Wings and their prospects they have. Take a look at this. Anthony Mantha was a guy that a lot of Red Wings fans were sort of sad to see go because he was one of the best players on the team when he was here. But look at the haul the Red Wings got for the guy. They got picks, they got players, they got Vrana, who unfortunately has only returned recently to the lineup, so we haven't really had a chance to see him in full, like in a full 82-game situation. But either way, we all kind of agree that the Mantha trade was huge when it comes to the value that the Red Wings garnered. If you trade away Bertuzzi, Yzerman is going to ask for more, because plain and simple, Bertuzzi is a better player, or at least he's a more valuable player. He has a lot more intangibles than Mantha does, in my opinion at least. There is an entire contract negotiation thing that you have to go out there and deal with next year, but still, Bertuzzi's got a year left, so if a team like, I don't know, Colorado, for example, is going out there looking for versatile, gritty, scoring wingers, Tyler Bertuzzi at 4.75 kind of seems like a fit that I could see working out. Of course, that's just one team out of many, and if you're wanting to go out there and suggesting a Colorado trade, then you have to talk about returns. We also had David Pagnotta in the fourth period talk about how the Pittsburgh Penguins might have some interest in Bertuzzi, so we're going to go ahead and make a video about that soon when more details come out at the very least. But if you're a Red Wings fan, let me know in the comments all your thoughts about Tyler Bertuzzi and whether or not you would want to trade this guy or see him get sent away to another team. I get it. There's a lot of sentimental value with this player. There's a lot of emotional attachment towards this player. But if there are teams going out there thinking about acquiring a guy that can be a versatile player, Bertuzzi might be that guy. Furthermore, if these playoff teams are going out there and thinking about the entire vaccination thing, well, I hate to break it to you, but there are only 3 Canadian teams in the NHL playoffs picture right now. I mean, there are teams outside in the wild card race and everything, but like, when it comes to in the playoffs, Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, that's it. And Edmonton has been so up and down that they could very easily drop out of this race by the time next week ends. So, who really knows if there's going to be too much of a hindrance for a playoff team to go out there and acquire a Bertuzzi. If he's not allowed to play in Canada, maybe they just miss out on those games. Maybe he misses out on 2 or 3 games of a 6 or 7 game series, and maybe he comes back along to play the games in the US because there are more American teams, so there's a lot less of a likelihood that you have a situation where it's like, okay, Tyler Bertuzzi gets traded to Colorado, and all of a sudden Toronto is in the finals with Colorado, and let's say Toronto gets the higher seed because, I don't know, they finish with more points miraculously, and there's a Game 7 in Toronto, but Bertuzzi can't play because he's not vaccinated. Like, that entire thing is so unlikely now because based off of the playoff picture, I mean, look, you have less reason to think about those kinds of situations nowadays. So, for Tyler Bertuzzi, let's talk about in the comments what you would rather have. Do you want to re-sign this guy because you like the purpose he serves on the team, or would you rather trade him away and get Yzerman a boatload of draft picks and prospects and other stuff in the meantime? I hope you enjoyed this video, Rosén, and bye.